everybody. This is Maggie Roddin. You're listening to The Unsolicited Opinion. And if you would like to advertise your business or service on this network, then get in touch with us, 800-724-2719, 800-724-2719. You can find Republic Broadcasting Network on Facebook. We're Republic Broadcasting Network. You can find us on Twitter. We're RBN Live on Twitter. Hello to everybody who's listening all around the country on all the stations and networks that are picking up the programming, and to our latest station, which is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, KHFX, 1140 AM Dallas. And if you would like to just make a donation to help keep the truth on the air, you can go to republicbroadcasting.org. You can donate online. You can send a check. Hey, you can do anything you want to do. Just do something. Don't do nothing, because nothing isn't working. We're already seeing that, and it's not working at all. Listen, everybody, my guest this morning is Karl Priest, and he has a website. He is a former teacher, and he has a website which is called insectman.us. Please go there. There's a lot of good information. And, Jerry, you were making a point when we went to break, so please go ahead.
Well, I had spent just a few minutes just talking about the changes in school curriculum that have, in essence, sent each generation of students down the road to zombieism.
Yep.
You know, and they don't know their rear end from a hole in the ground.
I agree, but they think they do, though. They feel good about themselves, and they think they're Rhodes Scholars.
Well, and then let me just continue for a little bit, because I wanted to vent on this for some time.
Well, go right ahead.
One of the things that we had in school in those days, and I think they still have it to some extent, is a gym class where once a week our class, there were several other gym classes, our coaches would line us up on the playground, mostly boys, I must admit, and have us dress or stand in a straight line, and then we'd move across the school campus, and we were instructed to take our little bags that they gave us and pick up anything that wasn't growing. So that meant that we all got indoctrinated into the idea that if you're eating some potato chips or whatever it might be, you don't throw the damn bag on the ground, because you're going to be picking it up sooner or later.
Right.
You know, and the reason that was dropped is because the union said that's my job.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I know.
Yes, and right now you look at any school campus, and they're not doing their job. The campuses are filthy with such debris. The other thing I think that I'd like to talk about is school boards. They need to be totally revamped. Members must have some kind of criteria to sit on the school board. They must show that they have some concept of academia. And they also must all, as our Congress must be, subject to term limit. You know, we've got people sitting on our local school boards there that were there when my kids were born.
Yeah,
and that was 30 years ago. You know, and they're still sitting on the school board. Now tell me their value at that point.
Well, they have none. None whatsoever.
And so from where I sit as a senior, I think that the most important step to returning our nation to constitutional governance and grandeur as it used to be in my day is found in the revamping our educational system at all levels. My son and daughter were honor students in the end of the 1900s and the beginning of the 2000s, and both are college graduates, as I went on to be. But my wife and I could not overcome peer pressure and their time at school. Now, looking back on it, we wish to God we would have homeschooled those kids. But that just wasn't in the cards then. So I guess that's what I wanted to say. Frankly, with my schooling getting out in the 50s, early 50s, and my college after I went through the military, my kids can't hold a candle to me, frankly.
No, I'm sure I'm sure they can't, Jerry.
They have all these fancy technical things with computers and all this kind of stuff, but they can't write a good sentence. They can't write a good letter. They respond to emails with one or two syllables, yes, no, maybe, or whatever.
I know.
Where are the authors, the fabulous authors like Hemingway? And right now my mind is racing to get what I wanted said. I can't come up with a whole bunch of other ones. But
take your time. I'm going to let you talk.
Golly, the short stories that we had to read and the longer stories that we were assigned, and they were just fabulous. And I think when you talk about music appreciation, for example, gosh, I never even heard of an oboe until they showed a picture of it, and then during a concert, she stopped and said, "You know what that sound was? It was an oboe, or a bassoon, or that was a kettle drum."
Yep.
And so right now, all it seems like our kids know about music is the volume control. It's got to be up.
Yeah, I know. But I'll tell you, Jerry, I don't know if
you soul music. Where is the music that actually makes you want to weep or laugh or cry?
I know. I don't know if you had listened to the show the day I was talking about the book I've been reading called The Language Police. But you ought to get it from the library. It'll blow your mind at how much they've censored all of these things out of the textbooks deliberately. So that's why no one knows the difference between a trumpet or a trombone, because I don't want anybody to know. There can't be any differences, Jerry. We've all got to be the same.
And then the other thing I was going to add is that we had prayer in our school, and some half-wit somewhere along the line, and a whole Congress full of half-wits decided that we had to have separation of church and state. But nobody seems to focus on the fact that isn't what the First Amendment said. We're just not supposed to have an official national religion. They said nothing about a prayer in school or separation of church and state. And, of course, the people that should be fighting for this, which is the generic pulpit people, they all have become government churches now because they all want to get on the gravy train with the tax exemptions from their parishioners, and so they have to conform to the IRS 501c3 code that says that they can't criticize any politician or they can't criticize their government if they're going to get this exemption.
I know.
So all you hear now from the pulpit is platitudes of love, joy, happiness, forgiveness. Well, I don't forgive a crappy government or anybody else that's sending this beautiful country down the tubes. And one more thing, President Washington, on his farewell address, if everybody, and I'd urge everybody to read it, it's easily available on the internet, cautions us about two things: entanglements with foreign nations, and who are we entangled with more than anything? Israel. And now, you're not supposed to talk about that, but I'm not talking about the religion. I'm talking about the politics of Israel. Because everybody has a right to believe in anything they darn well please. But I'm talking about what I hate is their politics, their Zionism. And this goes for the, what is it called, the I can't say the word Christian. I'm tongue-tied right now. But
Karl, do you know what he's trying to say?
No, I was just trying to think.
I'll tell you, it's just one of those days, guys, that's all.
Yeah, I think it's in the air.
It could be. Something's in the air.
The other thing President Washington warned us about is political parties, because by their very nature, they're corrupting. I mean, isn't that what they do in political parties, is make deals? Isn't that where they sell us down the river?
Yes, you're exactly right, Jerry. You really are. Jerry, hang on. Let me have Karl come in here. Karl, anything you want to comment on what Jerry's been saying thus far?
Sure do. Jerry brought up some really good points, and there's three of them I want to comment on. First, the most recent one he said was talking about the pulpits. I think the problem is not politicians, it's with preachers. And we need more preachers like these guys that are in my book. All five of them were arrested for standing up back then. Another thing Jerry brought up, and I'm probably going to put words in his mouth, but I think he was talking about this. It's sort of like the frog in the pan of boiling water. It's just gradually increased since the 50s with the federal intrusion into the education system. And the third thing I probably disagree with him, he said something about revamping education. I don't think we can revamp it. If we want to revamp it, we need to do away with public education and let the free market take over. And that's the way we'll revamp education.
Well, I don't take issue with that. I guess revamping the educational system may be a little bit more plausible than letting the marketplace take care of it. But I don't have any strong feelings about that, except I agree with both of them. The word that I was trying to think of is evangelico.
Okay.
Man, you got to remember that Israel is the chosen land, is God's chosen people. Now, what the hell are our Christians? Are we Limburger cheese or what it is? I follow Christ, and I think that Christ is my Lord and Savior. I don't know anything about this. The Israelites being God's chosen people. That doesn't make sense to me. And where that came from, I don't know. Now, some scribe wrote that down. It says he was inspired by the Lord, perhaps, or whatever. But it was probably a Israelite that wrote it in the Bible. It was a Israelite scholar that wrote it in the Bible. But it doesn't make sense. The modern version of the Bible says that we have to follow Christ. What is the term? I'm hyper right now because I am the truth, the way, and the life. Is that what the Lord said?
No, yeah.
Well,
he did.
That cuts out everything. To me, that means that you have to follow the Lord.
Well, I would agree with you, Jer.
And I have no allegiance to Israel whatsoever, except they have the Zionists there have impermeated every aspect of our government, and they are the puppeteers. They are running the show. Our boys and girls are dying for their causes, not for ours. Hell, we have nobody to be terrorized from, unless it's those folks that have been damaged by our unlawful wars that we've gone in and created hostilities in sovereign nations, stuck our noses where they don't belong. Hell, the Lord favored us with two huge bodies of water that make it almost impossible for anybody to occupy this country that we don't want them to.
Well, I'm going to, on that note, I'm going to let you go, Jerry. I want to give Karl, we don't have much time left in the show. I want to thank you for calling, Jerry. Karl, you got any commentary? We've only got about, 3 minutes before we hit the last break, and then a couple minutes after that. So
yes,
step in, Karl.
Yeah, I don't want to get off on the theology, what little bit of time I have, but something you brought up previously about when you watched the Waiting for Superman, it's sad and comical that everybody sees the problem that we have a great problem of public education in this nation. And almost everybody would say, but it's not in my school. Well, that's where I differ with them. It's in every school. Some are just worse than others. And the difference is how we solve it. The liberals, the powers that be, want to pump more money in. Well, that's been done for 40 or 50 years. That's not the answer. We do have problems, and we're not going to solve them with more money. And another thing I want to bring up is, as I was doing some research trying to tie in how evolutionism is connected with becoming one world government, I was amazed at the things that I found. One of your areas of interest is Agenda 21, but I compiled something on my website called The Common Thread, and it started out with an article, but I accumulated a lot of things in the addendum to the article that I think people may find interesting and useful to research this coming one world government, and it's going to be largely instituted by the education of our children. Here's a quote from an atheist that's on my webpage. I am convinced that the battle for humankind's future must be waged and won in the public school classroom by teachers who correctly perceive their role as the proselytizers of a new faith.
Where can they find that on your website, Karl?
They go to the Exodus Mandate Butterfly
on the left-hand side. Okay, I see that. Okay.
And then just scroll down through there, and it'll say, these people understand, and that'll take them to several quotes that are just blatantly obvious that the other side understands where the battle is being waged. Conservatives don't. They still think it's by electing a Republican.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't understand at all. And, it's funny because I've been trying to talk to people about this for quite a long time, and it's so often it just falls on deaf ears. It's like, you're talking to a wall. It really is. It's amazing to me that, I don't know, I think people, they like the illusion. They don't want the illusion to be broken down, because then reality isn't a pretty picture at all. The illusion is a much better delusion to hang on to, I think, for a lot of these people, Karl, and that's why they stick with it as much as they do. I want to read one more paragraph before we go to break. Thus, American public schools are no longer to be used to inculcate a common set of moral and spiritual values based on our Judeo-Christian heritage, but are to be used to promote a plethora of competing value systems with Christian fundamentalist values cleverly excluded from competition. In other words, the public school is now a marketplace of competing pagan and anti-Christian belief systems. The students have a choice, but the market is rigged. That, in a nutshell, is multicultural education. We'll be right back, everybody, in 3 minutes for the final segment. Don't go away. This is the Unsolicited Opinion. Hang in there. We shall return.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
If you're the mother of a child with behavior problems, I'd like to talk to you. My name is Janet Lehman. I'm a behavioral therapist and a mom. I know what it's like when the child you love becomes a defiant, out-of-control child who disrespects you. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the program that tens of thousands of moms are now using to turn around their child's behavior. If you've heard about the Total Transformation and wondered if it will work for you, now you can try it for free. I'm willing to give away 1,000 programs today for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free. I know the Total Transformation works because I used these techniques with my own son and with troubled kids for over 30 years. Let me prove to you that it works by giving you the program for free.
Call now. 1-800-583-1093. 1-800-583-1093. That's 1-800-583-1093. Are you still paying your credit cards and so-called bank loans thinking that you owe the money? Do you feel like it's your moral obligation but can't see an end in sight? Well, what if I told you that in truth, you don't owe a single penny, and that the banks know this and hope you don't find out? Here's where we come in. Free2Prosper.com specializes in a profound debt repudiation method which challenges the validity of your so-called debts, morally frees you from the burdens, and protects your property. Our system is often superior to settlement, bankruptcy, or consolidation, which often leave you in a worse situation. If you feel the moral obligation to take care of yourself and your family, then I urge you to consider taking action right now. The economy will not wait. If you want to know more so you can prosper through the economic collapse, all while staying honorable and true to yourself, then call 877-417-8393. That's 877-417-8393. Or visit free2prosper.com right now.
Hey everybody, this is Maggie Roddin. This is the Unsolicited Opinion, and we've only got a couple more minutes left. My guest today has been Karl Priest, and he has a website entitled insectman.us. I will link to his website on mine, which is 3 words, theunsolicitedopinion.com. Go to the tab entitled podcast, and there will be a link there to Karl Priest's website. We've got a couple minutes, Karl. Excuse me. Is there anything, final thoughts you have? Anything you'd like to say? Give us your book again, please.
The book is Protester Voices, the 1974 textbook Tea Party. It's on Amazon or my website. And I do want to close with this. This is another quote from my web page. This is from a signer of the Humanist Manifesto, Charles Potter, and he said, "Education is thus a most powerful ally of humanism. And every American school is a school of humanism. What can a theistic Sunday schools meeting for an hour once a week and teaching only a fraction of the children do to stem the tide of the 5-day program of humanistic teaching?" That's in their own words. The conservatives, you were talking about, you felt like you were talking to a wall. That's because conservatives often criticize welfare programs, but they're attached to the welfare of the public school system. It's called free babysitting. I document that a lot of sexual contact goes on between students and teachers, but I want to use this analogy. Parents would never send their children to a babysitter that's a known sexual predator, but they willingly send them to a babysitter 5 days a week that's a soul predator.
Yeah. Well, I'm just reading something on your website, and it talks about kids spend 14,000 hours in school, the largest block of time spent doing any one activity in their life other than sleeping. Whoever controls those 14,000 hours effectively controls how the child's worldview is shaped, and certainly is true. No doubt about it.
That's a no-brainer, and conservatives had better get the message or we're going to lose.
Yep, I agree with you there. It's so critical. Knowledge is power. It really is. And if you don't have it, you are done like a duck's dinner before. You don't even get out of the gate. You don't even get to the gate to even get out of the gate. It's just the way it is. It's just a fact of life. Well, I want to thank you so much, Karl. You stepped in at the last minute for me today, and I truly appreciate it very much. I thank you for all you've done, and I hope that people will go and buy your book, Protester Voices, the 1974 textbook Protest Tea Party, and that's available on your website, insectman.us. Thanks so much, Karl. I do appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. It's been an honor.
Thank you very much, Karl.